On Christmas Eve, just as Daniel finally believed he had rebuilt his broken life, someone knocked on his door, and standing there was the last person he ever expected to see again, trembling in the snow with their children and nowhere left to go. Snow fell quietly outside Daniel Harper's small suburban home, covering the streets in soft white silence. Inside, warm yellow lights glowed from the Christmas tree he and his kids had decorated the night before. Handmade ornaments hung unevenly. Paper stars, crooked snowmen, and one glitter-covered heart that read a best dad ever. Daniel stared at it longer than usual. 3 years ago, Christmas meant arguments, slammed doors, and silent dinners. Now it meant peace, even if that peace came from loss. After the divorce, Daniel became both mother and father to 8-year-old Liam and 6-year-old Noah. Their mother, Rachel, had left chasing what she called freedom. At first, the boys cried for her every night. Daniel stayed awake comforting nightmares he secretly shared himself. Slowly, life stabilized. He learned braiding hair badly for school plays, burning pancakes every Sunday, and pretending everything was okay even when bills piled up. Love replaced bitterness, at least for the children's sake. This Christmas was supposed to be perfect. Cookies cooled in the kitchen. Presents waited under the tree. Soft music played while Daniel wrapped the final gift, a second-hand bicycle he'd worked overtime to afford. Then came the knock. 3 slow, hesitant taps. Daniel frowned. No one visited this late on Christmas Eve. When he opened the door, cold wind rushed in, and time seemed to stop. Rachel stood there. Her coat was thin. Snow clung to her hair. Her eyes, once confident and bright, looked hollow with exhaustion. Behind her stood Liam and Noah, clutching small backpacks, their cheeks red from the freezing air. And Rachel whispered words Daniel never imagined hearing from her again. Daniel, we haven't eaten since yesterday." The sentence shattered something inside him. Anger rose first. Memories of abandonment, lonely hospital visits, birthdays she missed. He remembered explaining to crying children why Mommy didn't call, but then Noah stepped forward quietly. Dad. Can we come inside?" Daniel moved aside instantly. Warmth swallowed them as they entered. The boys rushed toward the tree, their faces lighting up, while Rachel remained near the door like a stranger unsure she belonged. She looked smaller somehow. Broken. Daniel placed leftover soup on the table. Rachel ate slowly at first, then desperately as if ashamed of her hunger. The boys devoured cookies, laughing again. Laughter Daniel hadn't heard in weeks. Finally, he asked the question sitting heavy on his chest. "What happened?" Rachel's hands trembled. "The man I left with lost his job, then everything else. I thought I could manage. I thought I was stronger." Her voice cracked. "But when rent disappeared, when the food ran out, I realized I'd already lost the only real home I ever had." Silence filled the room. Outside, church bells rang midnight. Christmas had arrived, carrying forgiveness Daniel wasn't ready to give. But as he watched his sons leaning against their mother for the first time in months, he understood something painful. Sometimes love doesn't disappear. It just waits, wounded. And that night, Daniel made a decision that would change all of their lives. He let them stay. Daniel thought offering shelter was kindness, but before sunrise on Christmas morning, Rachel would reveal a truth that forced him to choose between protecting his heart or saving the family he once lost forever. Morning sunlight filtered through frosted windows as laughter echoed through the house. For the first time since the divorce, the family sat together on Christmas morning. The boys tore open presents, shouting with excitement when they saw the bicycle. Rachel watched quietly from the couch, tears slipping down her face. Daniel noticed. "You okay?" he asked cautiously. She nodded, but her smile collapsed almost immediately. "I forgot what happiness looked like," she whispered. Later, while the kids played outside in the snow, Rachel finally spoke the truth she'd been carrying. "I didn't come just because I was hungry." Daniel stiffened. "I came because I failed. Completely. I lost my job months ago. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine when the boys visited me." Her voice shook. "Last night, Liam asked if Santa knew where we lived anymore." Daniel felt his chest tighten. Rachel continued, barely able to meet his eyes. "I realized I wasn't fighting for freedom anymore. I was just running from responsibility, from us." She wiped her tears. "I don't expect forgiveness. I just didn't want our children spending Christmas believing they weren't worth staying for." Those words hit harder than any apology. Daniel walked to the window, watching his sons throw snow at each other, their laughter pure and unaware of adult mistakes. He remembered sleepless nights, school meetings alone, learning strength he never asked for. But he also remembered love. Real love wasn't perfect. It endured failure. That evening, Daniel surprised everyone. He set an extra plate at dinner, not as husband and wife, but as parents starting again, slowly, carefully, honestly. Rachel began helping with homework, cooking dinners, rebuilding trust piece by fragile piece. There were awkward moments, difficult conversations, and tears that didn't magically fix the past. Healing took time. Months later, Daniel realized something unexpected. Forgiveness didn't erase pain, it transformed it into understanding. On the next Christmas, the house felt different, stronger. Not because life became perfect, but because broken people chose to grow instead of walk away. As the boys placed a new ornament on the tree, a small wooden house labeled a family, Daniel understood the greatest gift Christmas had given him. Not reconciliation, not romance, but compassion. Sometimes the miracle isn't that people never fall, it's that they find the courage to come home. Christmas isn't about perfect families. It's about open doors, second chances, and choosing love when pride would be easier. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give is letting someone begin again.